Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of Finance Eddy, where I go over the latest daily news in the finance sector. Please remember not to take any of this news as financial advice. Always make sure to do your own research, and if you keep a steady eye out, hope to make some money. So, Tesla is up 0.8% because they've received the green light for the construction of passenger cars in China. China is currently the largest automotive market in the world, so that's a pretty big deal and a very good sign. General Motors has not yet been able to come to an agreement with the trade unions. AT&T and Elliott sit around the table to talk about changes, so we'll see what happens there. That's something to watch closely. AT&T is a company that many investors like because their stock is very stable and they pay a relatively decent dividend that you can count on. So we'll see what happens there. Stanley reported a higher than expected profit, but remained very cautious for the whole of 2019. So it seems that the banks are doing decently well this quarter, but they're still very cautious about the outlook for the rest of the year. There's bad news for Kiadis, which expects a negative CHMP decision for ATIR 101. That's a drug company there. So generally when a drug company gets like a negative decision for one of their drugs, that's really bad for their stock price because it takes like billions of dollars to develop and many years as well. So that's a lot of research and development money that doesn't end up paying off. But when it does pay off, they make a very big return. So you never know what's going to happen with them until you get the final decision. And that's part of the fun and why you can make a lot of money if you're right, but also lose a lot if you're wrong. After a re-examination procedure, UCB and Amgen were given the green light by the CHMP for Vivendi. Oxurion's business update is in line with expectations. Shurgard won a building permit for a new storage facility in Berlin. Belron wants to raise 700 to 750 million euros via a new term loan. Food producer Danone lowers the outlook for 2019. That's pretty important because when a company like that, who makes a bunch of products that everyone's using every day and buys into supermarkets, downgrades their outlook, that generally means the economy overall is not doing so great, and we can expect a little bit of not as strong growth as before. Vivendi reported a better than expected
revenue.
That's great. And the French car manufacturer Renault lowers its sales forecast for 2019. Overall, it's been a very difficult few years for the automotive sector, and we're not really sure how they're going to be able to handle it. Thales has lower expectations for 2019. AccorHotels sharpens the expectations for 2019. Volvo reports a sharp decline in orders for heavy trucks, so once again, more evidence that points to the automotive sector really struggling right now, and there's no real plan with them to actually recover from it. And remember that a bunch of new regulations are going to come into effect, especially in Europe, that will hit them very hard, and it means that the average grams of CO2 that their cars are producing has to be lower than before, which basically means that there should be a big uptick in their electric vehicle production. But, we never know until it's all said and done. So if they're able to survive for so long, car companies have some of the best engineers in the world. Maybe someone pulls a rabbit out of the hat. We'll see. Yara starts with a repurchase of its own shares, and Cathay Pacific Airways has lowered its forecast for the year. Saudi Arabia has postponed the IPO of the oil company Aramco again. Nobody really knows, but they have one of the biggest oil reserves in the world, so whenever they either decline or postpone or do anything, it really affects the entire world. So it's always good to watch out what they're doing there. Anyway, thanks for watching episode 2 of Finance Eddy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you learned something, and check in again for episode 3.